Aloha! This is Dr. Nicholas in Hawaii with Hawaiian Fasting Retreats, and what I want to do in this video today is I want to inform everybody what it is that we actually do here at this retreat. Okay? So I'm meeting with one of my guests here, and what we're going to do today, just as we do with every other day, is we check in with the guest, we go over all of their vital signs, and every week we go over their labs. Okay? So every week we do a urine analysis where we check the patient urine, and every week we do a blood analysis where we go over the blood chemistries, the most important blood chemistries for each individual patient. Now, some patients have different tests that they do depending upon what case is going on with each individual patient. Everyone has a different case analysis, okay? So this is going to be an example of one of our patients, okay? And as you continue to watch more and more about what we do here, we'll actually show you more and more case history so that you can understand what we do. So first of all, when one of our guests arrives, okay, what we need to do is we need to get baseline chemistries, okay? So before anyone here starts fasting, we already know what is going on with their own health, okay? Before we can clinically allow people to start fasting under our care, okay? So when they do arrive, okay, we prepare them for fasting, okay? The way that we prepare them for fasting is we have a patient daily meal plan where they'll start out with some green vegetable juices and coconut water, okay, until we can transition them into fasting. Now, depending upon their health history, we may need to feed them some fruits, some vegetables, some salads, things like that before we can put them into fasting. So before they come, they already know what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to have copies of their past medical records sent to me, their doctor, and then we get the baseline lab tests. We like to do that when they come here because we use a very good lab here that gives us very affordable rates. And then we want to make sure that for 2 weeks prior to their arrival, they eat fresh fruits and fresh vegetables, salads, steamed vegetables, the most important things that are going to help prepare somebody for a fast, okay? So those are the items that we go over, okay? The first morning upon their arrival, we get a urinalysis test, okay? Then we take them into the lab and we get a baseline of their lab tests, okay? So the things that we check, we always check for the electrolytes, sodium and potassium. Those are very important. We can't start anybody fasting unless we make sure that we have proper electrolyte reserves, okay? The other things that we check are kidney function, okay? That's with blood urea nitrogen called BUN, creatinine. We check glucose, the blood sugar. We check proper protein reserves, okay? Total protein, albumin, globulin. We check liver function, AST, ALT, bilirubin, okay? We check adrenal hormones, okay? Cortisol. We check lipids, which are the total cholesterol, the HDL cholesterol, the LDL cholesterol, and the triglycerides, which is the fats, okay? Then moving on, for certain cases, we check iron reserves, stored iron reserves. We check thyroid function. We check uric acid. And we check complete blood counts, okay? The other things we check are inflammatory markers. We check SED rates. We check C-reactive protein. And depending upon your case, in this particular case, we're checking inflammation of the gut, okay, for inflammatory bowel disease. So we check IgA, okay? So I don't expect any of you to be doctors. I just want you to understand what it is that we're checking for this case. We also check vitamin D levels, okay? Now, if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, we'll check other special tests. Okay, we'll go into those in detail when we go over a case example of somebody who's coming in as a vegetarian or a vegan. All right, so with this particular case, we've already done 1 full week of fasting with another test of lab work. So what we found after 1 week of fasting was that the electrolyte reserves stayed really good. Okay, sodium went up and potassium stayed consistent, just a small drop, but very, very good levels. Okay, so the kidney function actually showed that the kidneys took on more stress, where the kidneys actually had to work harder. Okay, so that's because when you start with fasting, all these things that your body starts to detoxify, it starts to actually build up. Okay, so the kidneys actually are starting to eliminate more. Okay, the blood sugar levels, of course, when you start fasting, they're going to drop. So anyone out there who has high blood sugar is going to benefit by undergoing a supervised fast. Okay? With this case, the blood sugar levels stayed very stable. They dropped, but very stable. Okay? The proteins actually went up. Okay, so they stayed very good. The liver function, we can see, has actually worked harder. Okay, so that means that the body is still undergoing that detoxification phase. So these are some of the things that we look at to find out if your body is still detoxifying. Okay, so given these understandings, we can see that the cholesterol is increasing because your body is still eliminating the excess. Okay, uric acid levels have gone up. Okay, so there's so many things that we look at. It's too much for one video, but I just want you to see what it is that's happening during the fast. Okay, the stored fat, which is the triglycerides, now those things have also gone up. So your body is actually, these are some of the signs that we look at where your body is using the fat stores in your body, and that's why those things are increasing. We actually want to follow these tests until those things start to come down. So these things are still on their way up, and we're waiting for them to start to come down. Okay? The inflammation of this patient is still going up, and what we're waiting for is those to come down so that the person can now achieve normal health, where the body will now start to heal. Okay? So those are some of the things. Okay, what I want to do is little by little teach you a little bit more and more. Okay, but this is when there's more time, this is what I want you to understand what we're showing here. Now with the urine test, what we're looking for is to see that your body, when it starts fasting, it should be eliminating ketone bodies, which is your fats, and breaking those down and eliminating those from the body. Okay. So with this patient, we checked everything, and we also, the findings that we have here is that the specific gravity, the solids in the urine, is too high. So this patient, I've already advised them, needs to drink more water. Okay? So this patient needs to drink more water during their fast, and we are now at 2 weeks of fasting, and tomorrow we need to see what has happened now after 2 weeks. We'll be taking this patient into the lab now to find out how well she's progressed after this 2nd week of fasting. I thank you very much for watching. Okay, and if you have any questions or concerns, please just let us know and leave your comments. You can look at our new website, which is at www.fastingbydesign.org. That is www.fastingbydesign.org. So everything we do here is very safe and very effective because we actually know what we're doing. Thank you for watching. Mahalo. As I got into it, I realized, oh my gosh, this is too much information. This is like too in-depth. They're never going to be able to understand all of this.
What do you know?
So I started to
I
realize
cannot stop.
this is going to get really long going through everything. Okay, the SED rate, the IgA, you know.
How come I cannot stop?
This is the vitamin D, you know. So it was